All right, everyone, how are you? Welcome to this week's episode of our podcast. It's called His Breakfast Included. Thanks for stopping by. On the show this week, I get a chance to talk to Bobby Liebling. Bobby is the original lead singer of one of the original doom metal bands, Pentagram. Bobby took some time out of his day to talk about the new album, the new lineup, and the new tour dates. He also answered a few questions I had about the documentary Last Days Here, which he answered, and he was very honest about it, very honest about what's going on with him right now. It was a lot of fun, man, being a big fan of his and the band's, so let's check it out. Tell everyone who you are right off the bat.
I'm Bobby Liebling. I'm one of the co-founders and the lead singer of the band Pentagram.
Right on, man. Right on.
Yep.
And what do you got going on right now, Bobby?
Well, we just finished a brand new studio album with the brand new lineup. It's the first studio album we'll have had in 10 years. It's just a little wait, little gap, and I'm really excited about it. It's all new people. I have Henry Vasquez on drums from St. Vitus in the Skull, and Tony Reed and Scooter Haslip, who are on guitar and bass, respectively, both from Moss Generator.
Right on, man. Right on.
Proud to have these guys aboard, man. They're some hellacious, fine-tuned musicians. Wow.
Yeah, all those cats are top notch, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you said this is the first album in about 10 years.
Yeah. Our last one was Curious Volume, and that came out in 2014 or 15.
Right on. How did the lineup come together? Like who reached out to who?
Okay, well, we had a mutual acquaintance of ours, Sean Pelletier, who was formerly working with the band, and he reached out to me first, and Pentagram were already signed to this recording contract last June, a year ago, okay, in 23. And he said, well, how would you like to do the album with a different lineup of guys? And at the time, I'm very loyal to my guys. And I said, no, I really can't do that right now. I have a loyalty factor and obligation, to stick with the band I'm in. And I'm not just going to say, okay, I'm leaving, bye. Like that. So we put this off. And Tony and Henry had sent me songs about it was just about a year ago now, to review some things, and I liked a few of them. I wasn't real keen on them at the time. Of course, I was living in a motel at the time. I had just gotten back from Europe and vacated the old house I used to live in Maryland, my folks' house, and I really was pretty low ebb financially and so forth, and I really didn't have my all into it at the time. We just come off a European tour, like I said, and I said, I'll have to pass on this because the guys, I'm staying with the guys who are in it. And they said, well, if you ever want to do an album, let us know, because we wrote these songs especially and kind of tailored them to the Pentagram style of stuff. And they're very 70s, early 70s, mid 70s type of sounding things. And we really like to work together. And so finally, about 4 months ago now or something like that, the former lineup decided they had to depart because they had other lifestyles they were, into, and so family and things like that, you grow and, you live and learn and you go separate ways sometimes. We parted very amicably at the time, and very lovingly after many, many years together. And they stepped down, and I said, well, I've got to keep on going. That was one of the factors that led me even more so to wanting to work with the current lineup, because they said they could tour, endlessly type of thing, ad infinitum, so to speak,
Yeah.
I'm a full-time professional musician. Okay. This is all I do. This is how I earn my livelihood and so forth. And I wanted to tour a whole lot more, which was one of the main reasons why the other guys, decided that they were going to step away because they couldn't keep doing it.
Yeah.
Me or something on there. So. Anyway, uh, get out, damn spot. So we decided Henry and them could tour and they could play extended engagements and stuff. Like I wanted to go out. It's been a dream of mine always in the band's history, which has never come to fruition yet, to be able to go out on the road for an entire month at a time and play 25 cities and full tours.
Yeah.
That's the thing, I mean, you being in the business, I understand, you work with some very, very big, prominent bands, and you know how that goes. When you do, or it's a full boat,
Yeah, that's our livelihood, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm a pro at this, and this is all that I do in life, except for laying around watching baseball games and other various, wastes of time things that I'm not too indulgent in. But, I wanted to tour like as long as we could keep the gigs going and going and going.
Yeah.
And so they had written the new album and I finally listened to it again. And I said, wow, some of these are really cool. And I'd like to, to do this instead. And to keep myself going and keep myself occupied and working, I decided, let's do it. And so we decided, to go up to Seattle, to where Tony lives, to Port Orchard, Washington, and record up there at his place. And the rest is kind of history. We booked the flights and headed on up there, and we had the recording contract was already secured. The album was being delayed as it was already. So we kind of had a deadline, that not a specific deadline, but a time frame, a window deadline type of thing that we had to work within. And we had to get this shit together,
Yeah.
So we went up and flew up there and knocked out a whole album in less than a week.
All right, on, man. That's old school.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So when they presented you with these songs before, when they sent them to you out, but when you were still with the old lineup, you said you were going through some low times and you were just got back living in a hotel. Do you think that's the reason they didn't catch on, because you had so much other stuff taking priority in your mind?
That's exactly what it was.
And then when you came back around, the other band had left or had stepped down, and now you heard these songs for what they were?
Yes, most definitely. I except for there were some of them that I hadn't heard, but about half of them I had the chance to really give a heartfelt listening to. And I had, in the meantime, written a lot of lyrics for the new record, and had a lot of also some musical ideas and stuff like that, because, I do both, generally speaking.
Yeah.
And we decided, let's go ahead and, give it a go. And I was able to focus.
Yeah. Well, as far as drummers, you can't get better than Henry Vasquez. As far as
Henry's a trip, and I love him to death, man. He's a great guy, and he is a hard-working son of a bitch. I mean, let's face it. Wow,
Henry's a full-time musician, man. And
or full-time musicians. They eat, breathe, and sleep music all the time, 24/7, and they're really committed. And Tony had wanted to do this all for a long, long time. I know that in Moss Generator, we did one song on the album that was a split single B-side of a Moss Generator track. And they had recorded it previously, but it was a very limited release. Like I said, it was one side of a single. And he used to call that in his files, he called it Pentamoss, the song. But Tony is a major Pentagram lover, and he always has been. He did a solo album where he played everything on it, and he happened to put 3 Pentagram songs on the cover album of all covers and stuff. So, I was really enthused about that, and knew this guy is really into the band, heavy duty, and we figured let's go ahead and do this, man. We're all
And,
geared.
and did you guys gel like from the minute like you started recording? Did it all start coming together? Were there any like, hey, yeah, that's not going to work with my voice or any of that?
No, before, okay, I'll tell you the truth. Before we recorded, I had never met Tony and never met Scooter in my life. I had known Henry over the past 30 years or more, on off, on different occasions. We'd meet, festivals, gigs, and so forth, and Henry'd show up, or we'd be playing with them. And, I knew Henry fairly well, not close, not like a musical marriage thing yet, of any sort, but I had never met Tony and Scooter at all. And come to find out, first of all, Scooter's been with Tony on and off since they were 15 years old.
Yeah, those cats have been together for a long time.
Long, long time. Yeah, and done lots and lots of albums and lots of recording together. And Tony is just he blows me away. His brilliance, as far as, I mean, the guy is a lead vocalist, great guitar player, fantastic bass player, fantastic drummer, fantastic. He knows how to do the whole thing himself, and he's recorded a lot of albums, where he's played everything. And I was really enthused about the whole thing, man. So we met up finally when I flew to Seattle. It was the first time that I ever met Tony, and it took all of about 15 minutes before we had a real bond right away. It clicked. It was magic. It really was, man. Henry was already there for a week. They had been running over stuff, and they had scratch tracks for stuff and so forth. And when I got there, everything just came together so flowing, easy, and just smooth, man. We got along like, Scooter wasn't there. He had some other business he had to attend to, and he wasn't going to put the bass tracks on until later anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But Tony and Henry and I just meshed right away, man. It was real magic. I mean, on the new album, Henry wrote the lyrics to about 3 or 4 songs, and he had scratches of him singing them and kind of a basic melody that he had in mind. And I said to him, "Do you mind if I kind of take liberty with them and change some words here and there a bit, that'll fit me?" And before I got there, I was a bit nervous. I mean, you're going into a new family and you're already committing to something with people you've never met. What the guy doesn't like the way I hold my arm. I mean, you got to live on buses and tours with these people. But, it was a head over heels wonderful thing, man. We really had a chemistry right off the bat. Tony and I sat and listened to all these obscure as hell, like live Thin Lizzy Vagabonds of the Best of the World tour and shit like that in his house. He's got all these things like a lathe where you can actually cut records in his house. And, it didn't amaze me. He's got an old Victrola with the old horn.
Yeah.
Tony is a preservationist of music.
So you walked in and immediately thought like, oh, these are my people.
Yes, exactly. I was comfy, snug as a bug in a rug, like they say. Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, there was never any doubt from, a half an hour in when we got back there to Tony's house that this is gonna be good. And even though I had the little butterflies that you always get, I mean, that's a natural thing. You're gonna get them no matter what. You grab my cigarettes. You get them no matter what. I mean, even every night before you go on stage, it's like I'm not nervous, but I still get the little.
Yeah.
It is. You got to step up on the planks, and here I am naked. So,
and you're what? You're 70, correct?
I'm 70 now. Yeah, I'll be 71 in December.
70. You've been doing this since the early 70s.
I have. Yeah.
a lot of cats that don't do this for a living, like whether it be the musician or the tech, like they don't really get the butterflies or the nervousness. Like even though you do it night after night after night, you still get it, man.
Yeah, because you when you're become a consummate professional per se, I hope you get that feeling of I want to bring it. And in order to bring it, you got to raise the bar a little bit more and a little bit more each night. You know, you get worn down on the road, but you still got to keep bringing it. And you know that in your subconscious. So it's like, I better give it to them, you know?
Yeah, even if you're tired, man, even if you're tired, like, oh, we played four in a row. This is the fifth one.
Right.
You got to give it all, man.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't matter if you get a little crispy and you get a little frazzled. People will understand that, I think, for the most part. I mean, even, you know, the layman listener knows that, hey, the guys are worn down. They've been on the road quite a while now. You know,
Yeah.
you a little frazzled and a little freed out there, you know? So,
On that topic of the road, like you said, the past lineup of Pentagram would would only do these mini tours, as you say.
yeah, never more than 2 weeks, ever,
Never,
ever.
yeah. And there's always been a demand for Pentagram to be out there, and you guys just hit small pockets of the U.S. or go to Europe. Do you think now with this new lineup that wants to tour, that can tour, you'll be hitting, be doing full jaunts, so to speak?
I think so, and I really hope so, of course. Yeah, we're really looking forward right away as soon as the band formed and we put the feelers out. There was all kinds of barrage of, yeah, we want to play here, we want to play there. And it was like, okay, we'll take as much as we can initially. Like the debut things, of course, we can't start with going out for a month yet.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, we're going over to Europe and we start on September 27th and we play just a half a dozen gigs. But we played two in Spain, one in Cyprus, one in Greece, one in Germany, one in Switzerland, you know, and we're doing a couple festivals with Monster Magnet. And then after that, we had a few proposals. We don't know what we're going to take and what we're going to, you know, pass on yet, but we have a lot of feelers and a lot of irons in the fire. I know that we're going back to do a second tour of South America, which I wanted to do so badly because that's the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're going there in March again, you know, for extended, you know, probably a dozen cities, you know, more. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. I think that we can pull it off.
Yeah, those South American fans, man.
Oh my God.
Oof.
I've never seen anything like that. You've been there. My God in heaven. They're nuts.
Yeah.
They go cuckoo for heavy music. Jesus. I thought it was like, you know, I've said this in a couple other interviews. It was the first time, and compared to the States, Europe is a big deal because they seem to appreciate it even more than they do in the States.
Exactly.
I don't know if that's because we're from here or what it is, but it's just some kind of magic when you go over there. And it is more of a novelty to them. You're not a homebred thing. So when we got over to South America, it was the first time in my life I felt like, wow, now I know what a rock star feels like. They were going nuts, man. It was like the Beatles. So they were rocking the van up and back, almost off the wheels, off the ground, and banging on the windows and hanging on the side of it, rolling down the street, and you know, fighting to try to touch you.
Yeah, waiting outside the hotel.
Yes,
It's true music fans.
yeah,
Like,
hardcore, man. I mean, they'd die for it. It was they
yeah,
were waiting at the airport, and then from the airport at the hotel, like you said, and
yeah,
then you and they build each time, and they bring your buddies along with them, and you know,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
wild, man. Jeez.
It's crazy. You mentioned something about the difference between Europe touring and touring in the U.S. And I'm not, like you said, maybe because we're from here, but I've always noticed the European, we're pretty much overseas. the fan base, they just want the music.
Yeah.
They just want the music. There's pockets here in the US where music fans are just, you know, bananas. But a lot of places I call it the crossed arms crowd, where they just stand with their arms crossed.
Yes,
Show
just
me what you got, you
in
know.
judgment, right? It's like, are they going to suck tonight? You know, it's like they're going to rate the record or something.
Yeah. Oh, that guy played the wrong note in that solo.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. And you have the musicians too, who are like myself, are hypercritical and we
Yeah.
hear every little thing. So it's like, oh, we blew that part.
But like you said, South America, Asia, those fans, man, those
They just want to hear it brought heavy and pounding them to death with it.
yeah.
They love
And
it.
they enjoy every minute of it. How scary is it for you, man? Your first shows are going to be in Europe, festivals, um, with a band you've never played live with before.
Well, we're going to Dallas for to go to Henry's and going to rehearse just for 4 days,
Mm-hmm.
which will have like a half a dozen of the classic Pentagram songs that we are must do, and then probably 3 or 4 off of Sub Basement, which I've always fancied as the finest album we ever did, and never played anything off of it live. And since we just had Review Your Choices and Sub Basement re-released and remastered by Tony, as a matter of fact, and he did a bang up freaking job on them. We're going to put a few songs off of that, and then 3 or 4 brand new ones off the upcoming album. And I think after 3 or 4 days, we'll have to rehearse. Everybody knows the material. Everybody's going to have learned it really, tooth and nail, knows the grindstone beforehand. So I think running through the set 3 or 4 times a day for 3 days is going to do it. That's like, I think we'll be okay.
Okay.
I hope. God damn.
So after Europe, do you have anything planned like the US or anything?
Yeah, we do. We come back from Europe in the early part of October. And then around the end of October, around Halloween, in fact, on Halloween, we're doing a gig with one of Phil Anselmo's hardcore bands in New Orleans on Halloween, which will be a lot of fun down there, I'm sure. And we're also doing Levitation Festival with the Sword in Texas, in Austin, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And another one in Dallas and another one in Houston. And then I think we might have another gig between those. But yeah, those come in late October and then into early November. And then we're going to have to see. We had a few things proposed to us. I don't know if we're going to take them yet. I really don't want to say who it's with because I don't know if it'll happen at all.
Oh no, yeah, totally.
Because people are, oh yeah, he said they were going to play at this place, and they didn't show.
Yeah.
It's the usual crap. So, but I think we're pretty good. We're all stoked as hell for this, man, and we're very family right away. We find it like nobody's business, man.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I've known Henry about 30 years, man. He's one of my oldest friends. And as long as I've known him, man, he's always grinding. He's always hustling,
Yeah. Henry is he's a mover and a shaker. He hustles real hard at the stuff and he works his ass off at it. He's a good dude.
Yeah. So Bobby, Pentagram they're considered one of the forefathers of this whole doom, what they call doom.
Yeah.
How does it feel, man, when you go and you play these festivals with bands and you clearly see the influence and you meet them and they, they kind of treat you like a normal guy? Like, I mean, do you treat them like y'all are all buddies and then you see that how much they admire you and respect you?
I'm flattered completely, and it's very enamoring, of course, but I don't like to play the rock star kind of shit. I'm not about that. Everybody who knows me knows I'm real deal 100. I like keeping it 100. And I I value the fact that, God damn, man, I'm coming to the realization we have influenced a lot of fucking bands. It's ridiculous amount, but there's also a lot of bands who say you're a great big influence, and then they get up there and the singers
Yeah.
and understand anything, and it's like, well, what kind of influence is that? You must have caught me on the night with a sore throat. But stuff that's not my cup of tea, I can still appreciate more. Henry and Tony have, in the short time I was with them, which was just a week, right? They have taught me to really be yet rising to another level of appreciating that, something might not be my cup of tea, but I know why someone might like it.
Yeah.
I try to find the good in everything. My glass has always been half full. I'm a fighter. I'm a survivor of God knows how many wars with, everything from drugs to God knows what else. And, God's been real good to me, man. So I want to bring it, and
Yeah. Well, on that note, let me ask you something. About 10 years ago, they released a documentary about your last days here. It caught you at your lowest point.
yes.
And the whole, if you follow this documentary, it ends with the reunion show, and you're back on your feet, you're doing what you want, but you still had some work to do on yourself.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know?
I mean, I've fallen from that time a few times, and into the dregs again. And, it's always an uphill climb, but I'm the little engine that could.
Yeah, man. You sound great, dude.
Well, I try, nowadays I'm lucid, I'm sober, and it does make a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, like Ted Nugent once said, the air's a lot better outside your ass. It's just, and when you can see things clearly and you can be lucid and you can be articulate and intermingle with people socially, it brings you a lot more gratification in the end, and you are more valuable to them that way, of course, because you're with the people who came there and paid their good money to see you, man.
Yeah. Makes you appreciate it more.
Yeah, hell yes, it does, man.
Did you see a rise in people who found out about Pentagram through that documentary?
Oh my God, yes. It was a major rise. After that, it arose a lot of curiosity in people, and they wanted to check it out. What's this? Like the guy says in there, the untold secret,
Yeah.
because we were a well-kept secret for many, many years, and we just gigged, few and far between. And shit, when I started playing in Pentagram, you couldn't play originals and play anywhere. It was nope.
Cover songs.
Yeah, you got to play covers and be a jukebox. We don't want you, man. We'll let you do 3 originals in 5 50-minute sets a night in a club. And that's it. If you do more, you're out the door. People want to dance. They want them to drink beer, right?
Yeah.
Gigs, you know how it is.
Those biker rallies.
Exactly. Yeah. Stuff like that. Yeah. People, they want them to loosen up.
Yeah.
And that makes them thirsty.
Who are your heroes, man? Who are the cats that inspired you?
My favorite band of all time in history is Wishbone Ash. Okay. Wishbone Ash is class. They are all superb musicians. They have been all the way through. Andy Powell is my favorite guitar player of all time. Michael Schenker is one of my idols. So most definitely, the guy knows his shit, man. I mean, these guys have finery plus. And Wishbone Ash, they have so much diversity in their material, and they can play heavy like anybody else. If you go see them live, they're not namby-pamby whatsoever. They do some softer songs and some songs that are, moody and change their overall mood in the audience and stuff like that. But they play with such fine precision, and they're technicians. And I really respect that because I've always been into that. I mean, I'm not a tech guy as such,
Yeah.
but I know what it's about. Nevertheless, having been, in the business I've been playing professionally now 58 years. That's a little while, you know. So, Wishbone Ash, Michael Schenker. I love a lot of unknown, obscure bands that didn't make it in the 70s and late 60s. The Frost, Dick Wagner's original band, Stray, Del Bromham from England, the Groundhogs. T.S. McPhee was a mad genius. God rest his soul, man. The Groundhogs played some of the most original stuff I've ever heard in my life. And it was like, how does this guy take all these wrong notes and wrong type of chords that don't fit at all and put them cohesively together, and
Make them sound right.
Yeah, it makes it sound appealing as hell and interesting too, man. So those are some of my big ones. Sir Lord Baltimore, I love them. Wild, bombastic, frenzy, but keeping that container lid on there somehow, It's the runaway train that still found its brakes before it went off the tracks.
Yeah.
Those are some of my real favorites. Dust, another one. Marky Ramone, as he's known, Mark Bell, right? I saw Dust 6 times, and they were a fantastic band. They're built on the rhythm section. Kenny Aronson and Mark Bell, and Bogert and Appice are my favorite bass and drum team. I love Timmy Bogert and Carmen Appice. They were slaughterhouse great, man. Vanilla Fudge, even though they had primitive recordings, basically, compared to nowadays technical standard, had so much to offer as musicians. God damn.
Yeah.
And great vocal harmonies and great songs, and they're fantastic. Those are some of the various ones, that I really dig on all around the horn.
Yeah. Are there any new cats that you've listened to?
I veer away from a lot of it, and I know it's maybe jaded or something like that, but maybe I'm biased or prejudiced, whichever way you want to look at it. But music to me it's most of all been said and done. Most things you can envelop are things that bring familiarities. Even our new album has reminiscence of some other bands in there, and little things that are like, wow, that sounds like Black Sabbath, but no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
You try to give it that little finesse touch, to bring it having your own signature and finery to it. And
I'm the same way, man. I maybe I call it myself jaded a little. I have a 27-year-old son, I'm sorry, that turns me on to music, and I'm like, yeah, but it sounds a little like this. I can't get past the that. So I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, like it just doesn't have the original to me. It's like, look, when I started playing, the avenues were still unexplored. Let's face it.
Yeah.
Real early primitive days of psychedelia turning to what they call hard rock and heavy metal combination, and there weren't all the subgenres either of this metal, that metal, this metal, that metal, this metal, there weren't all these subdividers and subdivisions in music, and avenues were still very new and unexplored territory. So that's why I love the old bands, because I realized they were the first ones to really delve into some of this stuff. And I have a lot of respect for bringing something that has an original touch or some original nuance to it. In Pentagram, all of the inceptions of Pentagram along the way and all the albums have similarities here or there to maybe other bands, but we've evolved too, and changed through the eras. And some Pentagram albums sound a little bit like each other. Some have moved on then to another stage. And I think this new one, man, it's balls to the walls. I'm not bragging or not.
Yeah, man. No, man. I can't wait to hear it. Does it have a title? Do you guys have a title for the new album?
Yes, it is tentatively now called Lightning in a Bottle. And it's got a pretty neat cover. And we kind of took that as a concept because we were ready to break it out, man.
Well, it was like lightning in a bottle. You heard the song, you flew out, you did the album in a week.
Yeah, 4 days. I did all the double tracking, all the harmonies, and stuff like that. And I had never heard any of half of the songs at all whatsoever. Like they had recorded 10 that they first sent me. When I got out there were 20 to listen to, and I had to choose. Do you like this one? And I had all these lyrics. I was like, let's give that one a shot. I like that one. And I'd go in, and like Tony said in an interview last week, it took me like 20 minutes to knock the whole thing out. It just fit, man. It was like a glove. It's a blessing. And I'm so enthused about this. It brought a new life to me individually. I know that, man. And I'm hoping that the other guys feel the same way.
Yeah, well, I've like I said, I've spoken to Henry on several occasions, man. I know he's stoked about it. You sound extremely excited about it, which makes me happy being a fan,
Cool. Yeah. There's some things on there, like people were, I got a couple of compliments last week. Wow, that sounds just like Rod Evans did in Captain Beyond. That's one of the finest albums that's ever been released in history. The first Captain Beyond album. God damn. When people say, you sound just like Rod Evans, it was like, yeah, okay. I hit the bullseye, at least once or so.
Right on, man. Right on.
Yeah, and there's a little reminiscence of that. There's some Lord Baltimore, and it definitely also incorporates things that are most definitely Pentagram signatures too. It still keeps that 70s, maybe up to 80 flavor of the old classic rock that was just heavy rock.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy about it, man.
Well, when can we expect to hear it, man? Is there a single coming out? You guys gonna drop it soon, or?
We'll probably drop a single off of it. Probably, I would think, in the next month or so. And the album will be released definitely in 2024.
Right on.
That's a quickie. Yeah, I mean, we didn't waste any time, man.
No, man. Strike it while the iron's hot. Isn't that what they say? Did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
So you got the European festival, or you got the European shows coming up. You got some US stuff and South America stuff come up. And I hope to catch you guys on either one or some of those shows. I'm out here on the East Coast as well. So
yeah. I hope you can, man. It'll sure be fun. I'd love to meet you in person.
Yeah. The last time I saw you guys was at the Gas Monkey in Dallas, Texas.
Those were good gigs.
Yeah.
I like the Gas Monkey. That was a great place, man.
Yeah. And you guys played with what's his Henry's band?
Yeah.
The Sun.
Yeah, we did. I didn't even remember that. See, somebody was a little messed up at the time. But hey, such is life, man. Hey, I have my other band with Sonny Vincent, the punk legend, and it's called The Limit. And one of the songs on the second album is called Fall Down, Get Up. And that's what it's about with me.
Yeah.
You fall on your ass, then pick yourself up by the bootstraps and get the fuck back on the bike, right?
Yeah.
You know how to ride it.
Yeah. Well, you sound good, man. You sound excited. You sound healthy. And that's what's important.
Thank you. Thank God for that, man. I'm more than bubbling about this whole thing. It's like, man, we did an album that's a crusher. I can't wait for people to hear it. And then we'll put it out, Rainbow. I don't like that one. I don't like this one. Oh my God.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be a goodie. And after 10 years of a hiatus between albums, people are really, really, I'm noticing all over the line, they're really stoked and waiting for this. So I hope that they receive it like we intended to be received.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, like I said, I know there's always been a demand for Pentagram, man. And like you said, you're with some cats that can tour. You're with some cats that can bring this music to the masses. You know?
Yeah, I think so. I think we can yet rise to the hopefully the major level. Even.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, who knows? You know,
Hey,
too old, right?
you never too. How much longer you can keep doing this, Bobby?
I'll do it till they carry me on the rescue squad one night.
Right on, man.
Well, you know how it is, man. I'm a lifer. You know
Yeah.
what I do. It's what I know. The only thing I know how to do that I feel secure about, is getting up on those planks and hey, here it's time. Let's go.
Well, man, I'm looking forward to it. Do you have any like social media, Instagram or any of that people can find you on?
I do, yes. I'm just Bobby Liebling on Facebook, and on Instagram I'm Bobby.Liebling.81. So they can look at that, and we also have we're still using the Pentagram official page, uh, per se, on Facebook. I mean, I am Pentagram. I do own it, so
Yeah.
we're going to keep on friggin' using it. That's that. And on Instagram, now we are Pentagram _the_band. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, Pentagram _the_band. And that's where you can find us on there. And I hope people will drop us a line and stuff like that. I'm always diddling around on the phone like everybody else alive now, right?
Right on, man.
You can't do without it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
How do we do without it? How did we do it without it for years?
I don't, yeah, right. Hey, I came up, the cord was in the wall. When you left the house, you're done.
Using a Mapsco to get around.
That's right. Yeah, you had a map. Yeah, a paper map. You didn't have a GPS. You couldn't get anywhere unless you know how to read the map and figure it out. I think a lot of people stagnate these days because everything is just put there for you. You don't have to really excel in your grasping of learning skills. You just have to be there to accept what's dumped at you and use it. It's a different world, man.
Yeah.
I just
and learn how to use it. I'm reading your email right now. I'm like, Bernie, this is driving me crazy. I've put my password in 3 times. And then I saw your name come up. But
oh shit, this guy's gonna think I'm fucked up or something, man. I can't get on the site.
No. Well, Bobby, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. Like I said, I am a big Pentagram fan. Thanks to Henry. Henry introduced me to your band back in '92, I think it was, So like I said, I have a lot of respect and a lot of love for that guy. And I'm glad he put us in touch.
I do too. It's very, very nice speaking with you. You're a real congenial man. You let me speak my piece and do my deal.
I got one more question, and this is our tag question. Our podcast, it's called "Is Breakfast Included?" And when we do have breakfast, Bobby, what will you have?
I will have bacon, scrambled eggs, or 2 over easy, toast, and hash browns, I guess. Yeah, I like breakfast. Breakfast is my favorite damn meal. I can eat breakfast 3 meals a day with no qualms about it, man. I love breakfast. I have to have breakfast. When I get up in the morning, my stomach goes, it's time to eat right away. Not like a cigarette, which I chain smoke practically still with terrible COPD. I still smoke almost a pack a day.
Wow.
I can't stop. Everything else I did, but they won't go away and leave me alone. So, such is life, and I deal with it and get by. But breakfast, that's a must, man. I'm no without something in my stomach. That's your foundational meal. You know that.
Well, Bobby, it was good talking to you, brother.
Great talking to you, Bernie, and I very much thank you for all the time you spent.
No, man, thank you. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you soon, man.
Yeah, I look forward to it too. Tell them to go out and listen to Pentagram.
Will do.
Follow on Heavy Psych Sounds Records. Thank you.
Right on. Bobby Liebling. Man, I told you, super interesting guy, super honest guy. Can't wait to hear the new Pentagram on Heavy Psych Sounds Records. You can follow them at Heavy Psych Sounds _records. Follow Pentagram _the_band, and follow Bobby at bobby.liebling.81. Man, he's very active on social media. Go follow him, send him a message, show some support. And while you're showing him some support, check out isbreakfast.com, subscribe to our YouTube page, rate and review the show at Apple Podcast, and pick up a shirt at isbreakfast.com at our store. All right, guys, I am done. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next week.